Nice. You're alive.
I'm alive. I'm here.
You seem dead today. You
Uh,
seem tired.
Well, I was dealing with my sick child yesterday.
Okay.
Millie, I was just suki lala all day.
You were sucky lala or they were sucky lala?
She was. I wish I could have been. Oh, God, it would be great. Could you imagine?
If you got to be sucky lala for a day?
No, God, no. I was the unpaid babysitter. I was dad.
Nice.
Yeah, doing all dad things just with a child who was just like non-eventing for the day. Just
absolutely laid out? Or were they still
bit of both.
High
it was
energy
kind of
child.
like high energy at times. There was the up and downs of kids with being sick.
Oh gosh.
They do it. Like they go through the wave. It'll be like, yeah, they're dying, and then it's like next thing you know, they have like energy like you wouldn't believe. You're like, you were dying one moment ago. Like where did this come from? And then the other two came home. Went picked the other two up, I should say. They didn't come home.
Yeah.
They're 3 and 1.5, so they're not coming home on their own yet. Could you imagine?
When they can walk their own selves home, that's going to be huge for you one day.
That'd be massive. That'd be wow. That'd be a weird day. So yeah, I'm a bit buggered from that. All things considered, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, great. Because you know what? It's like super rainy today.
It is.
We face a window when we do this, and it's a little bit darker in our studio today because we don't have the sun. Because it's 3 o'clock.
There is
and
a
the sun
guy
is going
working
down.
in his office though today.
There is a gentleman working in his office.
Is that a telescope or a camera?
I don't know. Maybe he's streaming.
Ooh.
Maybe he's watching this right now.
Maybe
he's watching the other episode.
Shout out to the
He's
man.
got a very bright light in his room, though.
Does, yeah.
But it's because it's 3 o'clock in Vancouver.
Which
the sun
means
is going down.
Not down. The sun never came up.
The sun came up. It was up.
Well, I don't know about that. It's been pretty gloomy all day.
All right. So let's kick her off.
Do we do the...
Oh, my gosh.
We have an
the
intro. We have an intro. Beyond the game.
Beyond the game. Wow, that really does kick us off, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay. Well,
welcome back. Week 6. A little bit of a late intro.
Week 6.
Can
you believe that?
We're a month and a half in, man.
That's week 6 is almost 2 months. That's like how far we are into the 54-week year.
I know. Also, Loki, we should do a shout out to the whatever. I think I checked this morning. The YouTube channel's at like 350 people.
We're almost at 300. Can you imagine when we get to 500 subbies?
God dang.
Who's listening to this?
Not me.
I listen to it because I edit it.
I don't. People are like, did it sound good? I'm like, well, it sounded good when we were doing it.
Yeah.
So, but to all you lovely people out there, we love you. We think you're fabulous. But be better, and then we'll be better.
You don't have to do anything. Thanks for being here. That's all that's just amazing. He's tired from his children being sick and him having to babysit.
I'm delusional.
AKA being dad. So
you make it sound like I'm a part-time dad. I'm not divorced.
You're full-time dad.
I'm full-time dad when I'm not working.
He's tired from being a dad, AKA tired all the time because he's a dad all the time. Full-time dad, full-time partner, full-time married.
Full-time. It's like an option.
We've gone to back before. Intro it again. Focusing.
Focusing back in. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's a new week in Canadian sports, Canadian athletes, Canadian things. And I'm excited to get the highlights on a couple of things, because basically what I do is I usually wait for Nick to bring me the news. We head into my segment, which has a name this week, but we will not name it until we do. So, Nick, what do you have for me? What are some of your favorite things that happened Canadian-wise?
That happened recently. So, I'm a bit of a CrossFitter. You're kind of a CrossFitter.
I do CrossFit.
/ bodybuilder. And we had a competition that occurred over the weekend called The Rogue
The
Invitational.
Rogue Invitational.
So this is a lovely event hosted by Rogue, which is an equipment manufacturer for fitness. They make barbells, plates, really anything you could need to go work out. From the weird and the wacky to the very generic stuff, they do it all. US company. But they have for the last 4 years now. 4 years? 5 years.
I think it's 5 years. 5 years now. Yep.
5 years. They host their own competition. This year they moved it across the ocean. So it's no longer in North America. It got shifted over to Scotland, over in Aberdeen. So all the athletes got kilts and whatnot. So that was pretty cool.
And that word was kilts, not killed.
God.
I heard killed.
Could you imagine? Oof.
They did get killed during the workouts, though.
Yeah, they suffered greatly.
They did suffer greatly.
Suffering was had. Now, the reason we bring this up is because we actually took, as Canadians, in the men's division, we took top dog and second. We took 1 and 2 in the men's.
1 and 2.
With Jeffrey Adler taking top prize and Brent Fikowski in his last ever individual elite competition.
I want to go in quotations. Last ever.
You think he'll come back?
CrossFitters retire often and come back frequently. At least they used to.
Well,
so I feel
Noah
like
Olsen's come back for the Invitational.
Yeah, but he wasn't retired yet either.
Yeah, he retired.
Even from team competition?
No, from individual.
Exactly. So they're still competing. You know what I mean? You still see them around.
Yeah.
Right? So, Brent Fikowski, who is... Where is he from again?
I believe he's a Kelowna man these
Kelowna
days.
boy?
Hangs out by the lakes.
I thought he was like from Calgary or something.
No,
as
well,
or if that was Vilnius. I'm
No.
not sure.
So not... Well, we don't really have anyone from Alberta at the moment who's
I
hitting
think he was
top
living
top
there
tier.
for a little while.
We got a bunch who were like French Canadians, like Quebec. There's a bunch of them. Jeffrey, Corroy.
Oh, Sam Cornway.
Yep. Vellner's out that way now.
Vellner's out there now as well.
He was an island man. He was living out on Nanaimo, I believe.
All those Canadians competed at the Rogue, actually.
He did. Yeah, all of them did. Yep.
All of them did.
It was a fabulous one.
But
Jeff took top dog.
Yeah.
Jeff, did he compete at the games after the tragedy, or did he pull out? He
pulled out. So he wasn't in the games last year, but
he was the
champion
previous
the year before.
Yeah. So he's had some fabulous success in the last couple of years. I saw him show up at this one, and he looked absolutely like an absolute specimen. Came out of like government labs, beefcake. Yeah. Just looking great. Definitely looked ready to wreak havoc.
The thing with Jeff Adler is that he is one of those athletes in CrossFit where he is above average in almost everything. Where the reason I think he doesn't get as much acclaim as he does, one of the two reasons. One reason is that he's not like a massive personality on socials and stuff like that.
God, no, he's definitely not a personality.
Right.
He's very
nice, but he's just not a big personality on socials.
Yeah. You wouldn't like if you met him in the streets outside of him looking like a specimen, you probably wouldn't realize how much of a crazy athlete he really is.
And the other one is the other reason is because he's really strong and he's a great runner, but the things that he's really great at aren't like the home run events that people go crazy for, like the snatch or like the sprint, you know, like so his things that he's super great at everything, and that's what makes him the fittest overall athlete. Yeah. So he's
mind you, this
cleaned up.
At this event, he didn't take top prize in the events where he was, typically usually one of the stronger athletes. Like Ricky got him in the running event with the heavy sandbags, first event.
Fair.
Pipped him right on the line.
Yeah.
The squatting event, he didn't come out trumps. Who didn't Guy get him on that one? The Brazilian, I think the Guy got him on the
thing is that's the thing with Jeff. Yeah. Is like when he's above average in almost everything, but he's not the best. He's not the number one. Yeah. He could arguably
and that's why
be the
you never
number
hear
one.
About him outside of it, because it's not like he didn't have a Tia Claire. So Tia is an Aussie, so forgive me on this one, but she won There were 7 events.
Mm-hmm.
7 events. 8 events. And she won 5 of them.
8. Yeah, 8.
She won 5 of the events. And, like, everyone talks about that because, well, a very dominant display.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, once again, she's also not, like, that much over the top of everyone. She's also just, on average, like, crazy.
She's different. Tia's different. We're off the Canadians here. Tia is Australian, but Tia is different. She's like the previous male champion back to back Matt Fraser, where the thing is they are better than everyone in a full workout most of the time.
Yep.
Jeff is not fitter than everyone in a full workout most of the time, but he's consistently the top 3.
Yeah, he's
Tia is almost always fitter because in a workout setting. But so back to Jeff, he won, and I think this is his second time winning Rogue Invitational as well.
No,
is it not? This is his first time. First time. Canadians won it. Patrick Vellner, the other Canadian, won it. Has won.
He
it
didn't
before.
have a great event, but I mean, look, he's had a bit of a transition. He took, like Jeff did, he took the tragedy at the games quite hard.
Right.
He's also had a big life change. He's moved over from the West Coast to the East Side.
Sure.
Moving over that way, you know, all those sort of things that come into it. So he, understandably, I didn't really expect him to have a crazy one.
Right.
They also run events that were super up his wheelhouse. So he's traditionally not one of those ones for the workouts we saw to come out on top. New style of moving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Usually not his favor. He's more of a traditional training, not really going outside the box sort of training. But outside of that, we then also had Emily Rolfe on the women's side.
Emily Rolfe,
Yep.
She had some standout moments.
She did.
And then she had some not so standout moments as
Not
well.
so standout moments.
But she was, I'm trying to remember the workout that she absolutely smashed. I'm trying to remember that one. That's okay. That's okay. You know what? Someone in the comments, aka my wife Lucy, will know exactly. She watched every single one of the events. I didn't get to watch all of the first day.
I was in and out of watching them. I kind of had it on as like a
Yeah,
kind of like a soap opera event thing.
a soap opera.
You know, what do you not know what a soap opera is?
I know what a soap opera is, but why is the Rogue Invitational like a soap opera?
Because I just kind of put it on in the background. It's like watching the cricket back home, the 5-day
Okay.
test match. You have it on. It's like every so often you kind of like check in. You like, cool.
Nice.
I was working. Forgive me.
I don't mind that. It's the
I had-
comparison
I had-
to
I
the
had
Rogue
client- I had
Invitational to a soap
clients.
opera, though there was drama. But we won't get into that.
There was drama. There's always
It's always
drama.
CrossFit drama.
And then the other cool thing about the Rogue Invitational is it's actually a dual event. So you have the CrossFit side, but then you also have the Strongman, Strong Woman side. So we get to see some incredible athletes max out just sheer and utter strength and also capacity to move weird things
Mm-hmm.
like rocks
Yep.
or logs. Or what other weird thing? Deadlift. Well, they did let deadlift, but they're pretty normal. They did the yoke carry. They did the circus lift. The Cypress.
Oh, the Sire.
Sire.
Yeah, and I
Um,
bought my favorite. One of my favorites is the where they lift the stone like up on. It's like the quick. It's their sprint with the stones where they
stone.
lift it onto their knees and then they have to lift it on.
I'll
top
be
of
honest.
the
It
thing.
was there were a few of them who could do it as a sprint, and there were a bunch of them who did not sprint.
It's a sprint if you're strong enough.
If you're strong enough. But I mean, standout performance at it. He's not Canadian. He's an Icelandic gentleman. He deadlifted 1,010 pounds. Thor from Iceland.
Thor.
Absolutely just, god dang, strong man.
The mountain.
Very good mover of weight. But we have some highlights as Canadians. We have Mitchell Hooper.
AKA the winner.
Yep. Top dog.
The winner of the Strongman. Again, I think
Times
it's the second
two.
year in a row.
Second year in a row.
Second year in a row.
He's absolutely one of the most consistent performers across all events that they can toss at you in Strongman at the moment.
Yeah.
So much like some of the old legends such as like Eddie Hall, Thor when he was at his prime, Brian Shaw, those gentlemen, like just consistent event in, event out, year in, year out at the moment. Like, big fella too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're all big.
Yeah.
They all stand like 6'8", 6'9", or bigger, weigh 300 plus pounds.
Next to each other, they don't look as big, but
no,
like, and alone on the screen, they don't look as big.
No.
Standing next to a normal human.
I will be honest. One observation I did make, which if any of you strongmen are listening, don't come and kill me for this because you'll crush me by sitting on me.
Yep.
But if you look at their partners, it is rather amusing because a lot of their partners seem to stand somewhere in the 5 foot something range, and compared to the actual strongman, they're tiny.
That's on theme, actually. Thor Bjornson's wife is from Alberta.
Yep.
Canadian gal. So they live in
But
Iceland.
she's here, and he's like somewhere up there. It's funny as heck.
At one point, I was like, how did they meet? Because I'm from Alberta. So
how did he see her?
Well, he didn't. She
he
saw
would
him.
have been, maybe, was he tying his shoes up and like just happened to be like,
it was love at first sight. I like to think Thor does such good like social media things that I reckon that it was probably just saw her. It was like, oh, wow, Alberta.
Alberta.
Yeah.
That was the answer.
Yeah.
But
big weekend for Canadians at
big
Rogue
weekend
overall.
There. And then the ladies did well. We had a 7th and 8th finish with Melissa Peacock and Samantha Bellevue.
Nice. Top 10s.
Top 10s.
Big fan.
Getting there.
Yeah.
So the ladies did quite well. I mean, look, the women, strong women, it's definitely got some work to be done. It's catching up really quickly, though.
Yeah.
The performances difference between last year alone and this year, night and day. These women are like excelling at their sport so quickly. Like, it won't be long before you really can't tell in terms of the quality of like the technical and also the strength across the field, how good they're getting. That's more so what I care about when it comes between like the differences between men and women in sports is like when you look at it, you go, okay, how good are they technically? And then physically, as a unit, how close are they together?
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be differences between men and women, unfortunately. But as a unit, how close are they? Because you don't want, like, the winner to be, like, so much better than the worst in the competition.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make it fun.
Yeah.
But these ladies were so freaking close. It was
Invitational, also, I guess by the name, is invitation only, right?
I mean, they had qualifiers
for the strongman.
However, Rogue did reserve the right to invite or not invite based off that whoever they wanted.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. I think most events in the fitness world should be like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because you get injuries, right? You get things that prevent you from performing well in these qualifying stuff.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of these sort of ones, you get one chance. Whereas you look at some of the other sports around the world, like high rocks or tennis, there are multiple events you can use to qualify. It's not just a one-off chance. It's like you can blow that one chance. You can still have opportunities to get there. So I think it's great to see these opportunities still be available if deemed at the moment by the organizers to actually be like, well, you're good.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, you couldn't go through the actual like qualifying route for whatever occurred, right? I think it's a great way to allow us, the sport, to still see some of these great athletes compete, which will add to the sport. You don't want to see, it'll be like, well, you know, it was great competition, but like this person wasn't there. It'd be like a 100-meter sprint back in the day when Usain Bolt was competing. It'd be like, cool, well, that guy won the 100-meter, but Usain Bolt wasn't racing because he like bad out in the semis or like didn't make it to the comp because he was like injured or didn't qualify. Like everyone's still gonna be like, yeah, but. So I think it's great because then you remove those factors where it's like, well, we invited them and they're here, so let's see.
It just seems more dramatic than anything. Because I always think if it's like you win, you win, you lose, you lose. Oh, Usain Bolt, let's say, lost in the semis. We're creating fictional scenarios now. Lost in the semis, didn't make it.
Yeah,
sucks. Sucks to
but
suck.
people want to see that success happen or failure happen in front of them at the do or die
At the top.
At the top. Like, if they bow out early on, it's kind of like, yeah, okay. They had a bad game.
I guess you can kind of relate this to, like, this year in the MLB where we're all over the place now. But we're this year in the MLB where Freddie Freeman was there.
Yep.
Right? His mom's Canadian. And the two biggest teams, Yankees versus Dodgers, and it's one of the biggest, and Shohei's there, Aaron Judge is there. It's one of the biggest finals ever.
Yep.
And that's what people want to see. Like with and it's no disrespect meant to any of the finals in the past few years, but like people were hyping this as the biggest one because you want to see the biggest people on the biggest stage.
There's the hype behind the performance or the potential performance.
Yeah.
And the stats backing some of these athletes, and it's like, I want to see them in this like scenario where it's like you get the crowd hype, you get the pressure. It's just a cooker for like something great or something incredible to go wrong story drama wise. Like there's this opportunity as a fan, as a spectator, someone new to the sport, sponsors, or even as like athletes to have a story come out of this that's like you're not going to get the chance to have that elsewhere.
Well, is it fair then to those who aren't as prestigious then, who are right on that cusp and they just didn't quite make it, but they would have if the other person didn't get an invite? Is that fair? Because that's like
I think in sports it's not always fair. There are definitely things that aren't always fair. And I think situations where an organizer or a sport is trying to attract more to the sport, you're going to have those situations that are unfair occur for the benefit
of the overall package.
Which if you're on the cusp, right, and that sport gets this huge benefit and you manage to crack into the top, you're getting the fruits of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you never then go further, like, that would be an absolute shame, don't get me wrong. But, you weren't meant to get there in the first place, potentially.
Right.
You may have had that one opportunity, but if you were meant to get there, that one opportunity, you're going to be able to get there the next time.
I think that's interesting because that's just saying maybe in a nutshell, or maybe I'm bastardizing what you're saying, but I'm then just saying that, okay, well, sport first is entertainment for the people. It's not about necessarily the athletes. It's first and foremost entertainment for the people, and let's see what the athletes can do.
Well, if you want a sport to pay you,
right,
the sport has to be for the spectators.
Yeah.
Because there's numerous sports out there, and like say ultra running, for example, the people who do ultra running, they're not doing it for the fame, they're not doing it for the money, because there is none.
Yeah.
They do it purely for themselves and only themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not out there to put on a show. It's them versus the distance, versus the time, versus their body, their mind, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then we look at, say, NFL, NHL, any of these where it's like, you want to make a living out of this, you have to have the sport succeed as a spectating event for entertainment purposes for that to occur. Mm-hmm. If it's not entertaining,
I think that's the biggest hurdle in CrossFit, right? I don't know if the people and the company, the fans and the company and the athletes, I don't know if anyone knows what it is. You know what I mean? I don't know if
I don't think so.
I mean, I think people know what they would like it to be, but for it to move on to that.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about it being about community, which is great, but at a certain level, it has to turn away from community for it to be for the elite athletes to benefit, or the sport to benefit at an elite level. Mm-hmm. And if the sport doesn't care about that, then it can really focus in on that but it seems like it's split where it's like we want this, but we also want this, and it's like
Because I think the biggest thing for forever is that the community, which I think is, you're right, which is what is holding CrossFit back from becoming this spectator sport to watch, is because the community wants it so much to be attainable still, attainable to be on that stage.
Yep.
And I think you can do the thing. You can play the sport. You can go to shinny hockey and play your hockey. You can beer league on the weekends. You can go run on track and do a marathon. Or, sorry, that's a bad example. You can go throw the ball around with your buddies, whether that's footy or football. But you're not elite. You know what I mean? And and like, it doesn't hurt my feelings to say I'm not Connor McDavid or Wayne Gretzky, but I love watching it.
Yep. But you can't say that too easily in a CrossFit gym. CrossFit gym, I mean, you see in our gym, it's like if we were to walk in there and say, well, you're never going to make it to the elite level, people are going to get offended. But it's like the difference between us
sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah. us and them, there's a different world. Different world.
And I have to be very careful.
Some of us won't ever make it to that elite level, and that's just because there's only so many spots. You look at all the elite sports at the moment, you look at the statistics, and it's like, you look from the very beginning to how many people actually make it into like those top teams for more than even one season. Tiny numbers. Tiny numbers.
Maybe that's also why, though, there's so many people. And, like, for example, I think that Lucy has a shot. There's a shot still because because there is still the tie.
Yeah.
There is still close from the community to the elite.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what the community is trying to hold on to. And why CrossFit's having a hard time making it look like a superstar thing. So I think that needs to break.
Yeah.
I think the community needs to keep doing CrossFit.
I think there's a way for it to do that. And I think it would be similar to any of the other major sports. You have to create a pipeline from the community to there. You have to have a lovely funnel. Create the funnel. Create the pipeline which connects that to that without it being direct held, where it's like, you know, those here who are like, I want to get to here, this is the way. Yeah. These are the things you got to tick off.
Yeah. I think the more exclusive you make the top, right? Then that'll make the product, the entertainment, the sport more shiny.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually these teams, these programs, these gyms, right? They'll eventually become like teams.
Yep.
And where they'll have a funnel of their athletes that they have, and where they procure them, they coach them, and they get them basically to the league.
I know.
You know?
It's so good when that occurs. I mean, as someone from the track and field world, like, that's pretty much what it is. It's like,
is that what it is?
To make it to the top div, it's like it's hard.
Yeah.
You have to meet standards to even like be looked at for certain things.
Sure.
And it's like, just because you can run 100 in 10 seconds doesn't mean you're going to make it to certain competitions. It might be the standard, doesn't mean you'll make it. Like, which makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Right? There's just all these sort of ones. It's like growing up, like in Australia, you know what you have to do to make it places. Like, you know where to get to. If you don't make it to this box, like, you can either try this route. But if you don't make it, it's not happening. You might as well go and enjoy it and try to play it to a high level if you want to.
Yeah.
But you just have to realize that the door to the elite has now shut. And it's like, that sucks. But over here, it's like, in some sports, it's widely accepted. In other sports, it's like, no. But at the same time, in most of the sports where the doors shut early, there are also no doors later on, which is crazy.
Yeah.
They don't have any other options. Like, you either make it when you're 16 or you don't ever.
Yeah, it's like basically like hockey. You're done. You're done if you're not playing at 5.
Yeah.
You know, so there's no way you're making it. You're not making it as like, oh, I'm a phenom when I'm 11. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
You pick it up and you've been playing, and that's why I think people say that it's like a rich person's sport, because it takes all those years and all that money from the early. And I think I heard this about gymnastics as well, unless you.
Well, gymnastics is, and that's partly because
the body.
Yeah. It's. I mean, look,
body wears down.
It's also, there's no money in gymnastics, as shitty as that is.
Fair.
For most athletes,
right?
There's no giant league backing it up. There's none of this. Like, for all it gets massive coverage. As an athlete in the gymnastics world, it is so incredibly difficult to like ever make a living out of it.
Is it just basically you're a medalist or nothing? Olympic medalist?
Even if you're a medalist, not always.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just your time to shine in the gymnastics world is basically the Olympics.
Yeah, that's all you get.
It's kind of your show. And that happens once every 4 years, which makes it very hard for
a living,
right? It's like you've definitely got some like people out there that definitely, you know, we're certainly off topic with this, but when we go to like, we talk about that, you look at, I mean, globally everyone knows Simone Biles.
Yeah.
Right now, she gets coverage a lot of the time because she stands up for a lot of things, but also she is so far ahead of everyone else that she can retain these sort of sponsorships.
Right.
But there's hardly any other competitions we get to see her at.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason for the world to care between those 4 years. So
that's why, you know, in between the 4 years, because she is so amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that they had all those documentaries in between.
Yep.
So she was still relevant.
Yep.
Like,
but until we get more competitions between for the gymnasts and things like that. But the big one for them is it takes a huge toll on their bodies. And my wife's in the gymnastics world. It's an owner of a gym and a coach, and she was an athlete on the pathway. She got picked up by the AIS as a kid. Like, she was meant to go to the Olympics until her body broke.
Sure.
Like, it just, between the training and all that, it just didn't survive.
Yep.
So she got bad back, bad wrist, all that fun stuff. And part of it comes down to the training methodology was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And still is wrong for the most part, which is slowly changing. They're getting better at it, but there's certainly a lot to change so that athletes in some of these sports can certainly have longer longevity in their careers as an elite athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow, what a tangent we went on there.
Oh god, yeah, we went way off.
What are we at? We're at 36 minutes. I don't think we need to cover as much as we usually do today. No. But
well, because the other things I've got some pretty short stuff here.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch on Monsieur Bumstead as he gets ready to
the European show, right?
It happens this weekend, my man.
What's that show again?
The Prague Pro.
Ah, yes, the Prague Pro.
Prague.
Bummy's official last one.
I don't think it's officially his last one. I think that card sailed. I think it's now just like whatever he feels like. The man's doing side quests.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
fair.
He's achieved the main quest. The story's done. He's now just ticking off side shows. He's just like, cool, I didn't hit that achievement. I'm going to do this now.
He's going to every arcade he can to get a score on the top, at the very top.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, I mean, he's getting ready for that. So he's going to hit the open division. You know, there's been a huge change for him.
Yeah.
So he brought on Rambod, Hani Rambod, to kind of get him ready for the open, because it's slightly different how you have to do poses and prep.
Yeah.
Because it's different from the classic.
Yeah.
Right? From dietary changes and all that, he's had to make some massive changes. But interesting thing, he himself has come out. He's not expecting to win it. So I'm not overly surprised. Pretty tight turnaround to go from classic to open, but everyone certainly has in the bodybuilding world has got their eyes peeled to see what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
In terms of physique, the posing, whether or not the base of classic stands him in good stead to go into the open.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I am actually very excited to see, literally see him stand next to those other guys.
Yep.
Like it's
because a lot of the open guys are pretty short.
Yeah, short, stocky. right? So that's the thing. It's a whole different thing, like we talked about last week. So yeah, I'm excited to see how he does in Prague. Is that this weekend again? Is that what we said?
That is this weekend.
Perfect.
So 16th and 17th.
Wow.
So anyone interested in seeing this man, this legend, stand on stage once more?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have all sorts of stuff happening there. And then Jamie Lynn Horth. So we spoke about her last week and the week before because she had a cracker of a match.
Yep.
She's already announced another match.
She has announced the match.
Yep, she's coming back.
Yes.
December 14th.
Yeah.
Jamie is having a fight down in Florida against Miranda Maverick.
American?
I believe so.
Probably American. Maverick. Very American.
Yeah. So down in Tampa.
Because there was a bunch of Canadians fighting in Alberta,
Yeah,
basically.
very,
so,
yeah.
sick. That's going to be her fourth fight.
Fourth UFC fight.
Fourth UFC fight.
So her full record is as like a fighter in the pro categories. She's had 7 wins, 1 loss. So her only loss has been her second match in the UFC.
Oh, okay, sick.
So she's actually got a really stellar, thing. Whereas Miranda, her pro record stands at 14 wins and 5 losses.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, a lot of Jamie's victories have been through knockout and submissions, outside of the split decision that she just had.
Yeah.
But Maverick is known for her grappling skills and has been a pretty consistent fighter in the flyweight. So it could be interesting.
Well, yeah, I just want Jamie to keep on winning.
That would be nice.
Just keep on going, girl.
I know. That would be good. So, but I mean, small turnaround, but it's coming off the back.
Is that a short turnaround for a fight? Month?
5 weeks?
Yeah.
5 weeks?
That's
6
pretty.
weeks?
I guess I don't usually it's months in between.
I think it's like usually 3 months
Yeah.
between. But I mean, she came out of the other one pretty unscathed in the scheme of things.
Fair.
So that's usually why you have to have time. Is like, I mean, you see some of these people when they
Break
finish
things.
their faces are blown right up.
Yeah.
Like Jamie finished, you could see her in the post-match interview. Like she did not look super inflamed.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, she looked pretty good coming out of that one. And then we, unfortunately, we have some bad news when it comes to the MLS. Lovely Major League Soccer.
Oh no.
Yep.
Vancouver.
Vancouver is out, so all the Canadian teams, unfortunately, have tapped out of this year's playoffs. We lost in the third match against LA.
We lost in the third match.
Third match, 1-0. So
Bummer.
So out of 3, we lost 2. So unfortunately, our
Couldn't even get that tie, huh? To get us if we had a tie, we would have gone through.
Had a tie, we would have gone through.
That's heartbreaking.
So we're out. Unfortunately, there's no other Canadians in it. So, pick someone down in the States, guys, because that's all we got to root for, unfortunately.
Maybe we can root for some Canadian players.
Well, I think they're up against, Seattle's still in.
Seattle's still in?
I think so. So,
do they have any Canadian
I mean,
players?
it's pretty Vancouver to support Seattle. So, I mean, those of you elsewhere in Canada, you might as well jump on board with another team.
Yeah.
It's nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's either that or go tell your home team to kind of get the stuff in the gear. But look, it was really promising to see the Whitecaps do what they did this season. Like traditionally, Whitecaps have been terrible at scoring.
Nice.
They had a really good season. We actually put goals away. It was good.
Yep.
It's a good growth. So maybe next year we won't look so nervous at the beginning. We'll get some more goals going in early, and that'll be a really good start for us.
Maybe next year we don't end the season getting shut out.
Maybe that'd be nice. And then we turn our heads to CFL.
Okay, who are my picks last week? My picks were Toronto.
Yep.
And because it was between BC and Saskatchewan. I picked BC. BC was out.
BC was out.
BC
it was
out.
Saskatchewan versus the Bombers.
I picked the Blue Bombers.
Yep.
I picked the Blue Bombers and the Argonauts.
Okay, well, you were correct on both.
Yeah!
So the Argonauts took trumps over the
Alouettes.
Which was quite surprising because the Alouettes have had a very, very
great
dominant
year. You kept saying that for the last few weeks.
So they came out top 30-28. Very close.
Woof.
And then on this side, the Bombers came out on top with a pretty convincing win with 35-21. So the Rough Riders, unfortunately.
Rough Riders had a rough ride.
Yep. So this year is the 111th Grey Cup.
Grey Cup. Grey's Cup? Grey's Anatomy?
Grey Cup.
Grey Cup. Singular cup. Singular Grey Cup.
Is it actually grey though?
Yeah, it's like silver.
Silver? Yeah, it's close enough. So it's weird. It's being held in BC. At BC Place.
I never understood why sports teams held it in a place where there's no
I think it's
final.
to do with booking of venues.
So basically someone buys the final? I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's like, so CFL probably have just organized this well in advance.
Yeah.
I know in Australia when it comes to like our NRL and AFL,
Yeah.
what they do is they book the stadium at the beginning of the season. They kind of book all of them.
Mm.
They're like, tentatively, we're going to claim this date as our grand final date. And then it's like, as they go through and teams like get knocked, it's like they cancel it so that you can have like a home one or whatever.
I just think it's so odd. It's like, hey, Toronto versus Winnipeg. It's going to be in BC.
Yeah. It would make more sense to me to have it in Toronto.
Yes.
Or Winnipeg.
Yes, absolutely. Does the Super Bowl do that too? It's going to be here for sure.
Yeah.
No matter who's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, no one really cares though, because it's the NFL.
It's the Super Bowl. No one cares.
No one cares where it's at. It's just the Super Bowl.
I mean, look, when tickets go up to like $14,000 for a seat,
Yikes!
It's kind of like at that point, it doesn't really matter where it is because anyone buying tickets like that, whatever, they're not going to care. But it's definitely a weird one. But it's happening on the 17th.
Great.
So this weekend.
It's also this weekend.
It is also this weekend. So
Toronto versus Winnipeg. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Who are we going for?
Gosh. Everything in my hockey mind doesn't want to cheer for Toronto, but I want to cheer for Toronto Argonauts. No. Is it Argonauts? Yeah, it is.
Well, if you're going to the Argonauts, I'm going to go to the Bombers.
You're going to go to the Blue Bombers?
I freaking might as well.
All right. Deal.
Yeah. Coffee?
Okay. Deal. Whoever wins, the coffee's owed to the other person.
Done.
Yes.
Got to be a large coffee.
Argonauts.
Because we're going to win.
If
we are going to be
we
are going to be the bomb.
If one team wins by over 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Then what?
That's a
croissant?
And a baked good. Oh yeah.
That's let me just get a mortgage on my house.
So regular coffee if your team wins. If the other team wins by 2 touchdowns, that's
they get a
right.
They get a baked good.
They get a baked good as well.
Okay, baked.
14-0. Right, man. I haven't played football since high school. Canadian football. It's still 7-0. It's still 7 for a touchdown. It's right. Okay. Right.
Well, if you get the conversion.
If you get the conversion, great. So okay, it's if you win not by the 6, not just the touchdown, because the conversion.
So win by 14. That's steep. I think
win by 12.
Win by 12.
Yeah, win by 12. Just get the touchdown.
Win by 12.
Win by 12. You get the pastry.
Okay. Oof. Come on, Thomas. Don't let me down. I want that good. I want that sweet.
I love the stakes here, man. This is great. I don't like betting, but this.
I'll bet this.
Yeah.
I used to do this in athletics when I was training back in the day for decathlon.
Yeah.
We'd have milkshake bets at training.
Nice.
It'd be like, if we were doing discus or something, it'd be like, all right, well, if you get over this mark or whoever's furthest, won the milkshake bet, and everyone else like there was like a tab pretty much, and it's like you claim it when you wanted to. If you we'd regularly go get milkshakes, so it was like. If someone owed you one, you had a tab on them, and it was like, cool. Nice. You're shouting me that.
You're shouting me that.
We do it in reps. We do it in like maintaining speed and like reps. It's like if you dropped by more than a certain amount of time from your target time, you'd lose the bet. Things like that. Really good motivator.
This is healthy betting as opposed to.
I don't know if milkshakes are a healthy bet, but
well, as opposed to an addiction to gambling.
I mean, I was addicted to milkshakes.
Wow. Yeah, you were.
Don't get addicted. Addictions are bad. Seek help when needed.
Absolutely. We don't have a helpline that we can recommend, but I'm sure that we can find one for you.
We can find that. I think I remember the writing hotline from back in Australia.
I'm sure there's a hotline.
There always is.
But just giving me, the editor, more work to put the hotline on that phone.
A little just snippet.
Yeah, just a little ticker line.
There we go.
Oh, gosh.
And then we turn our heads to something a little more speedy. speed skating.
Speed skate. Nice.
Yeah, you know what's up.
I knew you were going to.
So we had the short track that happened in Montreal at the beginning of the month. We forgot to mention it last week.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the 5,000 meter men's relay, where Canadians took gold. Yeah, Canada came up tops.
All right.
On that one, and then we took bronze in the mixed relay.
All right.
So we're doing all right there.
We're skating.
We're not doing too shabby. And then we got the juniors Canadian Championships also kicking off. Actually, they did kick off, but we don't really have any stellar performances there to talk to.
Sick. Okay, juniors.
But they've occurred. We got
You'll
some
get
more
there.
stuff coming up soon. This week we have long track junior championships.
Yep.
For Canada occurring up in Fort St. John. That's
high up there.
That's somewhere out there.
That's somewhere. Fort
been there.
St. John.
I've been there.
You have?
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's 16 hours north of Vancouver.
Oh.
It's 16-hour drive, sorry. I've driven there.
No, it's almost as close as your house. All right.
My house ain't that far. Gosh, you hurt my feelings. Yeah, and then we got competitions coming up in Japan and China for the long skate
For the long
team.
skate. How long's the long skate?
Well, it's the course. The distances are different / the same. It's just how long the track is. So the short track is a very different style of skating from the type of skates you have on your feet to how you actually have to skate. Typically, the short one, there's you plus, I think it's like 5 others, maybe more.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's on the long track, it's you plus against one other person typically, unless it's like a relay, and then it's 4 of you, but and 2 teams. But there's not like tons and tons of people. It's not like being on a velodrome cycling.
Equals absolute horror because of people on skates and falling.
Yeah, so when you're on the short form, there's a lot more safety precautions to be had in terms of like what they wear. They've got the helmet, they've got the neck guards, all that sort of stuff. Whereas the long track, they're in their super suit. They got their glasses. There's
only 2 of you on there.
That's it. Yeah, they're not really concerned. They're like, but also the skates are different.
Yeah.
So short skates, they release differently, whereas the long ones don't.
Got it.
Yeah, it's slightly different on the skates. So, yeah, so that's happening. Where are we? What else happened here? We got some High Rocks events that are coming up. I wasn't able to find if there were any Canadians doing it, and then we got the World Series kicked off as well. Like the World Series athletes have all locked their names in. We don't have any Canadians this year, though.
I know a Canadian who did something similar to a High Rocks recently.
What'd they do?
That would be me.
What did you do?
I did this. So one of my friends, Alec, he sent me a half.
You did that far.
A half. It's like a maybe a 1/4 or a half High Rocks workout. Basically, it's just a workout, just a long workout for CrossFitters, and so it was a kilometer run with a kilometer ski, kilometer run, kilometer row, kilometer run. 100 wall balls finished with a kilometer run again. And I have not been doing, oh man, I'm doing the thing where I have to undersell myself so my time doesn't sound as bad. But I haven't been doing CrossFit for so long.
You're not a fast runner.
How dare you? I'm a very fast runner.
Your marathon time says otherwise.
Oh, no, not long distance.
Running 1K several times equals long distance.
Really?
Well,
great. I'll take it.
It's not
I like running long distance.
It's not a 100-meter sprint.
Even if I'm not good at it, I like running long distance.
There's nothing wrong with running long distances.
You're just saying, don't say you ran it quickly.
Don't say you ran it quickly.
I didn't. I was about to say that I did. Hey, everyone out there, take note of that workout. Go ahead and give her a shot because it's nice. It's nice if you just
let us know how you do.
Yeah, I got 51 minutes. That's a long time. Alec got, I think, 31 minutes. 31 and that's a fit boy. I am a casual fit boy. So, casual fit. So, I got 51 minutes.
I would hate to think what I would do. God.
You would do better than me.
That's just because I'm more of a runner.
Yes.
I don't know how it'd go. I don't think I'd beat Alec.
It's just skiing and rowing, and you probably wouldn't beat Alec, but because he's regularly doing CrossFit.
Yeah, I don't do regular. I should. I don't. I've been really.
It's okay. I reckon if you were to do it today, you would probably get you could probably push for getting under 40 minutes for sure.
I think the running I'd do all right.
Yeah, I think you'd be great. I think you'd be absolutely chugging. So you who knows? You might even get you're underestimating yourself. I'm such a bad person for knowing how fast workouts are going to be. You might even get under 30. Who knows?
That's really all I had. We had some sponsorship stuff I was going to talk about, but I would love to hear about the hockey.
Oh, welcome to the segment, The Puck Drop with Jordan. So it is our regular segment where I talk about all the hockey stuff because I'm very passionate about hockey. I never got to play, and maybe that's why I'm so passionate about it. But
maybe
we have updates on the standings, the Canadian teams, the Canadian players. First thing is I'm going to stop underselling Winnipeg. I think now we've spoken about them for 3-4 weeks.
That's because they're doing well, yeah?
Yes.
Did they win on the weekend?
Yes. They haven't stopped winning. So last week we spoke, they were 12-1. Now they're 15-1.
Wait, they played 3 games in a week?
They sure did.
And they won all 3?
They won all 3.
What the heck?
They set the record for the fastest amount, what was it?
The fastest to 15 wins in a season?
It was like the most wins in, crikey. Now, it was like the
you
first
can't be dropping
16,
crikey.
It was
Canadian.
It was the first the fastest team to like 16 wins, which was 17 games. The fastest in NHL history.
Huh.
NHL history.
Yeah, so they're good.
They're great right now.
What's their injury list like, though?
They don't have an injury list. They're fine.
That's why.
Yeah, their goalie, American, Connor Hellebuck, playing out of his mind. The rest of their team, it's very great. It's a very unified crew, which if you just look at their coach. Dang, that's part of the underselling, though. I forget their coach's name. But their team, 15-1, which is absolutely wild. The rest of the teams are all pretty much exactly where they were last week. So Winnipeg is first in their division in the Central by a solid margin. And
we're at that point where you were saying the other day, like we're getting pretty close to knowing what teams are going to have a very good chance of making it to the playoffs.
Yeah, Winnipeg's making the playoffs. I find it very hard for them. So for teams to make the playoffs, they probably need 98 points, something like that at the end of the day.
Yep.
They have played 17 of their 82 games, and they're 1/3 of the way to getting to that point thing. So, I know that's a lot of maths for everyone, but they're pretty much gonna make it unless they absolutely bomb. If they let's say there's 17 games played,
yep,
which means that they have to play 65 more games. If they only go half and half, yeah. So let's say they win 32. That's 64 points on top of their 30 they already have, which is 94 points. They only have to go 500 to maybe make it, and they're gonna go 500.
Yeah,
that's a lot. You went
I have no idea.
He absolutely phased out. But for any hockey fans out there, I bet you followed me.
500? Where did we get 500 from? I know the story of 300, but where the hell's freaking 500?
500 means that you win one, you lose one.
So 50%.
50%.
Why don't you say 50%?
Because no one says you go 50%. You go 500. That's hockey lingo.
Hockey, Jesus.
And so
throwing an extra 0 in there from somewhere.
Yeah.
Why don't you say go 50?
No, don't go 50. It doesn't sound as good.
Then go 100.
Everyone else, all the other teams were fine. They didn't have any movement really.
So is anyone sucking more than they were?
No.
Oh.
No one is except maybe Montreal. They are still last in the Atlantic. We're at the point now where it's they're probably not making the playoffs.
That sucks.
That's where people are starting to say, you really are going to have to go on an absolute heater to make the playoffs.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So Toronto's looking like they're in a good spot, but they could easily fall out. Same division. They're in Atlantic. Ottawa is looking really good right now, but they're right in the middle. They're 5th in the division. You need to be 3rd.
Oh.
You need to be third. So they're not quite there yet. They look good. They beat Toronto at a pretty solid 3-0 victory on the weekend. Edmonton is starting to look a little bit better. Their goaltending is not. So
that's never helpful.
nope. Yeah, but speaking of Edmonton and Canadian greatness, Connor
Okay.
McDavid, the arguable best player in the league right now. I will speak on the other arguable best players, so don't worry, Colorado fans, and any other fans. Connor McDavid is sitting on 999 career points right now.
Damn.
So he recorded 4 points in his last game, which is pretty darn outstanding.
Yep.
You know, a great game is if like a really solid game is like 3 points. 4, you're like, oh man, he had he was on one. So that's the line between 3 and 4. If he,
Oh.
oh,
Sure
yeah,
thing.
absolutely. But you know what? We can probably end her there.
You just want an excuse.
Huh? No, we can keep going.
No, we're good.
Yep.
I'm tapped. I've got nothing.
You're tapped? Okay. Well, I'll finish up with that. Is that basically Connor is 1 point away from being the 4th fastest player to get to 1,000 points and the 4th youngest to do that same feat as well.
Not too shabby.
So, Canadian greatness. Really excited for the next game that he's going to play because hopefully he just does it in the next game. You know?
Sounds good.
Sounds good, right?
We're getting
Other
there.
than that, I think that's pretty much it. Wes Van Boy, he's still in 3rd place in points in the league. Sam Reinhart.
Who's top?
Nathan McKinnon, the other arguable best player in the league. He's at 30 points in 16 games, nearly 2 points a game.
Jesus.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
Stuff.
So he hasn't been injured. He's been playing amazing. So
Fingers crossed.
hopefully we
injury-free.
just keep on going here. But thanks for joining me at Puck Drop. That
was
is
good. I like
my,
that.
I know,
I do like the puck drop.
impassioned.
You get a puck though.
Yeah, I need a puck from Puck Drop.
Drop that thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us for more, whether that's on the YouTube channel
Yep.
or the podcast places that you can find us,
Wherever.
or on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Join us.
Yeah. Try and get
And we'll
more
see you for the next one.
Yeah.
Next week.
next week.